Hey everyone, welcome. Glad you're here. And what we're going to do today is we have a very specific goal. In the next few minutes, what I want to share with you is to show you how to have a fully automated trading system in 28 days. And even if you've never written a line of code in your life. All right, so if that's interesting to you, then let's get right into this. And also at the end, I'm going to give you a link so you can download this PDF infographic that is called the Roadmap to Funded Trading. All right, so we're going to talk about automation, and then what you can do with that is you can either do it for yourself or you can use that to launch your funded trading career through automated trading. All right, so this has the 8 proven steps to launch your funded trading career in the form of a roadmap, and it gives you some warnings along the way, some pitfalls, some areas where you can get stuck on your way to fully automated and funded trading. All right, also, I want to tell you today how to get copy and paste systems. All right, so you don't have to build these things from scratch. You can start with what other people have built. So you copy and paste systems to launch your automated systems even faster, and how to test your automated systems with real money without risking a penny of your own capital. All right. So this is ideal. I believe this is ideal for traders who do have some experience. You have at least 12 months of experience. All right. Making things faster and easier and automating and more consistent only really works if you're already aware of how things work. This is not something you want to jump right into without any prior experience. And it's for anyone who's currently trading stocks, futures, options, and or ETFs. All right. And we're not going to talk about automating options. I want to make that clear up front. Not automating options, but this is ideal for options traders too, because you can add automation in for hedging and diversification. Okay. But stocks, futures, ETFs, you can automate those as well. And you would like to, you want to focus on trading more, but you just don't have the time. All right, if that's you, you can use automation and tools, automated analysis, automated trading to save you time and give you the opportunity to get more involved in your trading without taking up a lot more of your time. Possibly, ultimately, even taking less of your time. All right, so quickly about me as we get started. I left commercial real estate in 2010 after doing about $300 million in deals on teams. All right, I worked for 2 of the largest commercial real estate brokerage companies in the world. We did brokerage for leasing shopping centers, selling shopping centers, apartment buildings, developments, office buildings, etc. We did lots of deals like that. And I didn't really like the business, okay? And so I wanted to get out, and I was attracted to trading. So as I got out, I left and I transitioned into the trading world. I followed some free advice, free trading advice through all these free resources online. And that led to me losing about 6 figures very shortly into the whole process. And we had our first baby. We have 3. And our first baby was born, and my wife was staying home with our first baby. And things were not going well. All right. There was only losses to show for all my work, tremendous amounts of stress. I remember every Friday on my way home, I was just furious at myself. I was angry. The week was over and I had nothing to show for it. And I had to wait the whole weekend again, it felt like, to even try to get back to work again and get things going the right direction. And so I was preparing to quit trading. I was thinking I was at the end. I was going to go ahead and just say it was an experiment and it didn't work out. And I was going to have to just go back into real estate, even though I didn't like that business. So that's where I was. But then came the turn, and things turned around. And I learned options and systems, and I learned these directly from the professionals on Wall Street. I invested and partnered with an investor to also support me and help me in this venture, but tremendous amounts of investment into learning in a professional way. Okay, so to the tune of a grand total over the years now, about 50,000 in training. All right, quite a bit. And ultimately that led me to turning things around, and I became a funded trader. I also started a registered investment advisory firm. I won a trading competition, and things were going very well. And I was simultaneously at one point the top performing stock and options trader on Fundseeder. All right. So that was the turn right before I wanted to quit. In my mind, I had actually quit. I had quit and I was ready to go back, but I didn't stop. It was this funny little short period of time. I had quit in my mind, but I kept digging forward and said, well, I might as well just give it one last shot and do this the professional route and just kind of take this more seriously. I guess I hadn't been taking it as seriously before, and it all finally worked out. And right now I currently manage for a private fund, and I'm trading, I'm investing, I'm now funding startups, and I'm learning new things every day. And I have the freedom and capability to do that. And I'm leading this great community of traders at Forma Financial, and I really love the group we have assembled of very sophisticated, high-level thinkers, hard workers, no silliness, just a really great group to work with. And I'm enjoying a life of freedom and pursuing my interests and really enjoying it, and very grateful for this journey that I've been on. It was a very difficult period of time to get on the right track, but I'm there. And I love to teach and collaborate with great traders. To this day, most of what I do that works came through collaborating with traders. And most of that they started off as mentoring clients or students who were learning from me, and then they became collaborators. It's the most wonderful thing. I really enjoy it when I can develop these relationships, and we have a great time. All right, so in working with all these traders and investors over the years, a big problem keeps coming up, all right? And that is, traders know they should be diversified, but they just don't know how. They understand the benefits of it. They understand the benefits of not just focusing on the few things that they know, but they get stuck. All right? And what I like to do when I try to understand a problem or an opportunity, all right, I want to keep asking the question, why? As little kids, we do that. We ask the question, why? All right, I have little kids, 3 little kids, and they often ask why. Less than I thought they would. But they certainly are inquisitive. It's usually longer questions than one word. But anyways, we ask why as we grow up. And eventually we stop asking that as much. And some of us just stop altogether. But it's very important. Ask why. Okay? So I ask, why is this a problem? And I dig in a little bit, and it seems like it's because they just want to stick with what they're comfortable with. They're attracted to this certain style of trading. It speaks to them. It fits for them. These are the words I hear. These are the phrases I hear. And it makes sense to them, and they've spent time on it, and they're getting better, and they just really understand it, and that's their style. All these things are like, this is why they want to do the thing they do the way they do it. And they know there's all these other things that work, and maybe even work better, and work when what they do doesn't work. But they just want to stick with their comfort zone, all right? So that's not really an answer, right? That's just another problem. Okay, this is a problem. So why is that a problem? All right? And I think the root problem really is they don't have the time and energy to learn and manage more strategies. Isn't it a lot of work to learn? Wasn't it a lot of work to learn what you already know and what you've learned and what you've implemented? And the idea of saying, how can I maintain that and continue to learn and continue to improve that, and then go over to a completely different category of trading, investing, and strategies, and then start over and learn all that again when it's not really even my favorite style and it's different. And now what am I going to do? Like, I have to manage both of these now. You see, that's the difficulty, because usually you have something else going on that you got to focus on and do. So it already takes more time and energy than you thought maybe originally to do what you're doing now, and to then just double that to go into other things is a pretty difficult thing to accept. And I think that's really the root to why. And we can keep digging into why that is, but I think generally that will speak to most traders and investors. The time and energy required to add new things and maintain those things on top of everything else you're doing is very difficult. All right, so I believe automated trading is the solution, and it's the solution to these many things that I want to share with you, and it can help you a lot. It's a solution to help you rapidly learn new strategies. Instead of what it took you before to learn strategy, you can learn them faster by using automation, automated tools, and automated trading. And it's a solution to reduce the emotions that currently cause you to interfere with your trades. All right? That's a very common thing. Things you know you should do, and then you wind up not doing them because of fear and anxiety and greed and all sorts of other fear of missing out and fear of loss, all these other emotions that come up and cause you to not do what you plan to do. Through automation, you can reduce that because the machine is going to do the mechanical execution and more of that, more of the, not the decision making, but the analysis process and trading process can be done for you. And if you add more things, you'll be able to do those things. You'll need to add automation. You'll have less time to spend worrying about individual trades. And it can help you add strategies that complement what you're doing now. Okay? Sometimes the word is used hedge. People want automation. They want a way to hedge what they're doing. Hedging is good, but complementary strategies, strategies that complement what you're doing now are even better. Okay? The reason for that is hedges, sometimes you expect them to lose when you didn't need it. But complementary strategies, they can make money when the first system is not, or your first strategy is losing and this new complementary system is making money for you. And what can also happen when it's complementary is they can make money at the same time, because it's a standalone system that's good all by itself, but it's directly complementing and offsetting. All right, it's like a partnership, like a business partnership or a business team or a spousal relationship. When you complement each other, you're often quite different from each other, and those differences make each other better. You see, you can do that with strategies. You don't just need a hedge. You need something complementary. All right. And through automation, you can add more of those complementary strategies to what you're doing. All right. And you can. All right. What you may be more directly looking for and seeking is to automatically hedge your current strategies outright directly. Say, where's the core risk and how can I, at a specific moment, and a specific trigger, and a specific event, just go ahead and automatically capture and put on a hedge that will directly hedge me. You can do that too. And you can create automated tools to speed up your analysis and trading. Things like scans, alerts, emails, text messages to you when certain conditions happen. So all that can speed up and save you time in what you're doing. You can have some of the math done ahead of time. You ever have a system or strategy where when it comes time, but then you got to go calculate sizes and you got to calculate stop losses and limits and trailing stops and all these things. Well, all that can be automated all the way down to the size and timing and positions and distance of everything. And this can be the solution to ultimately spend less time in front of your trading screen. You can add more strategies and spend less time managing them because you're using automation. All right. So the smart money has already figured it out. What's the smart money? Smart money is also called the big money. And some headlines here you may have recognized or seen over the years. These are just a few examples. The ferocious market sell-off was driven by algorithms, strategist says. Wall Street Journal, behind the market swoon, the herd-like behavior of computerized trading. And another report says 80% of the stock market is now on autopilot. So, are you familiar with the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule? And it's the principle that repeats throughout nature and statistics and in many different places, that 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes or inputs. All right, and that's repeated many times throughout economics and nature and etc. All right, so if that's the case here, and 80% of the market is on autopilot, then we can safely assume, using the Pareto principle, or conservatively assume, that 20% of traders are controlling 80% of the money. So 20% of traders are using automation to control 80% of the market, just using very simply the Pareto principle. And what would that mean? Conversely, that would mean 80% of the rest of traders are controlling 20% of the market without automation. All right? So most of the money, 80% of the market, is controlled by automation. And we do know that most of the market volume is done by larger institutional traders and investors. So it's safe to assume that the big money, the smart money, has already figured this out. And so the question for you is, if the smart money and the big money and most of the money is being automated, shouldn't you be automated? Well, that's my suggestion. And I would like to make this claim, and I can help you do this, and I want to talk to you about how to do this. In 4 weeks, I believe you can be sitting in front of your trading machine and watching your very own fully automated trading system trade for you in 4 weeks. And I do believe that's possible with or without any prior automation experience, coding experience, algorithm experience, etc. If you have a basic understanding, about a year of experience in the markets, so you understand all the basic functions and functionalities of trading in the markets, and you have a very basic level sense of math as it relates to trading and investing, then you can automate that in a very short period of time. You can do this all while maintaining your current income and responsibilities, because I do believe the end result is that you spend less time on your trading and investing, and it does not take an exorbitant amount of time to make this happen. And you can do this while using automated tools to find new opportunities. So as you replace some of your functionality and implement automation, now you're freeing up your time. You can maintain anything else that you have to continue doing, and you can start to redirect your time to even finding more opportunities in the markets. And you could be, if this is of interest to you, spending that extra time talking to potential clients to fund your strategies, your existing strategies or your new automated trading system strategies, and anything else you want to be doing. If you can save time and still get what you're trying to do, all you did was replace what you're doing now with automation, then you free up time. But if you can free up time and add more and begin to protect yourself more and reduce some of the fear and anxiety from those hedges that you would like to have, that you can now have, then you can free up that time and energy for anything else that you would choose. So I'm going to share with you right now 2 secrets most traders don't know and don't understand about using automation, because I would like to dispel these misconceptions that maybe you have too as you move forward and consider becoming an automated trader. And the first one is, you don't have to be a high frequency trader to use automation. High frequency traders depend and rely and require using automation. It's the only way it works for them, but they are not synonymous. Automation and high frequency are not the same thing. High frequency requires automation, but automation does not require high frequency, because some automated trading systems could hold for 3 to 6 weeks, and even that could be considered short. You can have automated systems that trade 3 to 6 months at a time, or 3 to 6 years at a time between trades. It doesn't matter. The process of using automation frees you up just even monitoring what's going on. So using automation helps you get into these trades without having to constantly check for signals. So just because something holds for 3 weeks at a time, how do you know when that's going to happen? If it's a 3-week average hold, but it could be anywhere from 1 week to 10 weeks, what do you have to do? You got to keep checking and checking and checking. And what if you, after 2, 3, 4 weeks, kind of get a little bit bored of checking and start to get distracted and you stop checking? You'll miss it. Automation doesn't stop checking. It will check and it will check and check. And so even if it's a very instant moment where it says, now it has to happen, it'll happen. It's not, oh, I forgot to check for a few days. Here it is. Well, I'm late, but maybe I'll get in. Maybe I won't now. Automation saves you from that constant checking. If you don't have to constantly check, then how many things can you check? If the system's checking for you, you can check nearly an unlimited, essentially an unlimited number of things constantly, always looking for that opportunity. Here's an example. This is a momentum system equity curve. So this is showing the returns of trading a momentum signal. So it starts at 0 P&L and climbs from there. That's how it shows. And has a profit factor of 3.23, which is a very strong profit factor. But look at this. The average time in trade in each trade is 43 days. And then the average time between trades is 23. So you can hold the trade for 43 days, and then you could have another 23 days before you even get back in. All right? So that is not high frequency, but can be implemented through automation. And instead of checking in every day to see if something's going to happen, the system can check for you. All right? Second misconception I would like to dispel as you move forward in your consideration of automation. You don't have to have a PhD or be a computer engineer or a systems engineer or any other kind of engineer or have a master's degree in math or anything like that. You don't need to have any high level of education to use automated systems. If you can operate a smartphone, okay? We call smartphones smartphones because it seems like the phone is smart. Well, when you first learn, you probably realized at some point you also had to be a little bit smart too. Figure out how to connect the thing to Wi-Fi and download apps and set up your email and all these different things. If you can operate a smartphone or you can schedule an automatic coffee maker, then you can set up an automated trading system. All right. If you can interact with any type of normal modern technology, then you can interact with automated trading software. Okay. So this is not about developing complex algorithms and writing hard code in development environments and sourcing data and all that you can do. You can get to that point where you're doing those things, but there are tools that accomplish all of that for you, and you just come in and operate it, just like your smartphone. You don't need to know how it works. You don't need to program and build the apps to use the smartphone. The apps are delivered to you, and then you use the apps. Okay, it's the same thing with automation. For example, this is inside of an automated trading system. You can write one single line of code to control that automated trading platform and tell it exactly what you want to do. One very simple line of code generated this equity curve in a trading system over 185, 186 trades. One line of code can operate that. All right. So now I'm going to tell you there's 4 general steps to make this happen. There are 4 things that you have to have in place, and they all have to be in order, and you've got to get them accomplished. And many times people will skip one, and many times people will get stuck on one or spend way too much time on just one. And this is my personal experience, where as I was going through this process, and I didn't really even know it was a process, I was just finding my way through this whole process, but I would spend months, if not years. I'll be honest with you, I spent years. I wasted years on just one of these. All right. And you don't have to do that. So the 4 steps are to discover, develop, deploy, and dismiss. Don't you love alliteration? It helps you remember things. Discover, develop, deploy, dismiss. Let me explain these, what they are, and encourage you to not get stuck in any of these. And if you feel like right now you are stuck in one of these, then you can go through a process, begin to use automation, and get unstuck and get through this whole process and move on to implementing. So the discovery phase is called discovery because you're finding out what works and why. You want to discover what works in the financial markets and why. All right, and in that guide to the roadmap to funded trading, it details it more into this. You can read about not overfitting and things like that. And then the development phase is how to implement it. So first you figure out what opportunity there is and why there's an opportunity. Remember we talked about that earlier? We see and we observe something, we ask why, and then we have some information, but then we dig deeper and say, well, why is that the case? That's very important in the discovery phase of trading edge and finding edges in the market. You want to discover what works, be it an indicator, a setup, a trigger, an event-driven opportunity, etc., and then why. Why does that occur? What is going on? What are the motivations? What are the fears and anxieties and greed factors that are in play? What are the human and elemental and market factors and functionalities that cause that to happen? And the deeper you dig into that why, you begin to develop reasons and things you can start to look for as your strategy. It's very different than what many do and what I used to do, which is to just let the data speak to you and just kind of dig through the data and get the end result and just be told what works. But if you dig into why, you can come up with things that not only work in theory, but also work better in practice and in the real world. All right, so the how is the specific function of what will you look for, what is the trigger, what is the size, what is the exit, all of these very specific functions and factors of your system. And then the third is to deploy. And there's two ways to deploy. And the first is to scale in, and the second is to scale up. So scaling in is the process of going from simulation to testing at a very small size to using proof of concept and the results out of the market to prove that you should be getting into the target size that is appropriate for your portfolio. That's scaling in. That gets you from theory and history into simulation and into real money. And then scaling up is the process of either compounding or adding to what you're doing by only using profits, not even more than you plan on using, but only by using profits, or through funding. And that's the fastest way to scale up. And to do all of that safely. All right? So many people get this phase wrong. They over deploy or they never deploy. And it's a very important phase and a very important step. And the final, which is also very important, is to dismiss. And that means to fire the strategy or reduce its size and move on and take that buying power and that capital and put it somewhere else. And so to dismiss is to know when and how to cut a loser. It's not just a binary instantaneous decision as some will make it. They'll just say, I'm done with this one, it's not working, and they just switch 100%. They completely 100% pull out and put 100% deployed into something else. And they just make this switch because they get fed up with it or frustrated with it, impatient with it, whatever it is. You should know through the scaling in process if it's working. So you should never even be at a certain size without knowing. And then you can see early how you can be scaling out and get out of it slowly. Usually you can get out of things slowly and begin to have freed up buying power, move into something else. By using that process rather than just waiting until you're so frustrated and fed up that you just jump into something else that's been doing better during that period, which causes you to just whipsaw yourself in strategies, not just the market, but strategies, then we can avoid that process by dismissing properly. And you can dismiss properly also by deploying properly. Okay, so it all works together. So these four things, if you have a 4-digit combination lock, there are 10,000 possible combinations. That takes you from 4 zeros all the way up to 9999. All right, and to get the right combination, you can either do it through trial and error, or you can find someone who's already done it. You can find somebody who's already experimented and messed around with and paid people to show them how to get to the right digit on the right lock. And you can find somebody who's already done it and who has not just done it for themselves, but who has successfully helped many others get it done, and who is motivated to help you get it done, who's not going to do it reluctantly, who's not going to just say, well, if you want to grab it, you can have it, and you can go through this process if you want, but is actually motivated to work with you closely. And here's a very unique thing that I'm willing to offer to you that you probably don't see anywhere else, is will guarantee that you will get it done. To be motivated, and not just motivated for you to go through the process, but will guarantee and stick with you until you get it done. All right? Because what's the point of getting you started if you don't get to the finish line? All right, we're going to talk about how that happens. So if you get all of that in place, and you get develop, deploy, dismiss in place, and you have somebody who's going to help you get it done, will guarantee you get it done, will be with you step by step, side by side, all the way to the end, then you can unlock the lock. And the way we're doing this, the way I would like to tell you about now, I call the Automated Trading Accelerator. And this is how to put your trading on autopilot. Everything from analysis to signaling to even full execution, and all the way to managing funded accounts and even automating fee calculations and commission split calculations and profit split calculations, all the way to even transferring the money into your own account. 100% automated. So this is step-by-step training to launch your automated trading system in 28 days, even if you're starting at the very beginning, even if you've never written a line of code in your life. All right, so this is how it works. You'll follow the step-by-step path to go live in 28 days. It's not 28 days of trading and then you're off on your own and then you got to go figure it out and try to go live. No, this is you are live during the 28 days. We will get you to live during 28 days. All right. And we'll do one-on-one coaching to troubleshoot any issues you have. And I personally, not just somebody else I'm pawning you off to, I personally will give you direct feedback on your strategies. Okay. And I know most, if not, don't have experience with the technology we're using. They need to get systems working. The computer's not going to work quite right, and they got to figure out little things here and there, or they're trying really hard to get this one idea implemented, but it's just not quite working. I understand. Trust me, I understand. So I believe the only way to guarantee that you'll get to the finish line is through outstanding training and standing side by side and working with you one-on-one to overcome any issues that pop up. And besides the one-on-one, you will join a sophisticated community of traders who I've worked with over the years, and you'll be very impressed, all right, with the quality of and professionalism in this group. We've got professional and funded, independent, we got business owners, we've lifelong traders and investors who've been through every market cycle. We've got really good high-level people who are all thinking in a very similar way and are collaborating with each other. And finally, new information for you here. I will offer you a huge incentive to hit that goal of launching your automated system in 28 days. All right. I've worked with traders now. I've been doing this since 2010. And for 5, 6, 7 years now, I've been collaborating and working with and passing along that information to traders through training and mentoring. And I have seen way more than I think is acceptable. People get excited and invest into something and then never follow through. And it's sad, and I don't want that to happen anymore. So I've decided I'm going to offer this crazy incentive. You're going to be impressed with it. A huge incentive for you to follow through and actually do this. All right, so I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. So what is required in order for you to participate and make this happen? About an average of an hour a day. All right. And you can do more. If you're like me, you'll probably dive even deeper. But if you're very busy and you say, I really want to do this, I need to make this happen, but I just don't know if I have the time. If you have an average of an hour per day for 28 days, then you can get this done. That's an average. It's not every day. You don't have to get in every single day for a 1 hour period of time. It can be, you can group a lot of it into one day or a couple mornings or a couple nights or whatever it is. But about on average, an hour a day will get you done. You do need a decent computer because we're using automation. If you're not familiar with computer specs, basically if you spent more than $1,000 in the last couple of years, you probably have these specs covered. But if you have like a little Chromebook or you have like a 6 or 7-year-old laptop that was cheap when you bought it back then, it may not work. All right, most computers are going to cover this. You can double check if you need help. If you're not quite sure, then it's not too hard to find out if you have this. But this is lower end on current machines, especially if you spent, like I said, over $1,000 on your machine. And like I said earlier, you want to have at least a year of experience so you understand the market. You understand buying and selling and shorting and covering and limit orders and market orders. If you don't understand those terms, you can't apply it to automation. You got to know that stuff first, and we're not going to cover the basics. So you need to understand those things. And you do need to be willing to just do the work. Do the work that's needed to be done. It's not very difficult work, but there's work, and there's always little things, little hurdles you got to get over, and you got to contact support because something's not working quite right. You just got to be willing to do those things. It's a short path. It's such a short window of time where you just do the work to come out on the other side and have an automated system. All right, but you just got to be willing to take ownership of this process and go to the finish. I will help you and I will be with you, but there is work for you to do. Okay, and you should have an open mind and be willing to learn. If that's you, if you love to learn, you love to dig into things and build and do new things, then that's you. But if you're super reluctant to say, nope, I have 100% specific idea about exactly what I want to do, this is exactly how I want to implement it, and you want to use some training or get somebody to help you implement only that one thing, you may just struggle with this. But if you're open to exploring and learning and implementing things as you uncover them, then you'll have the best experience. All right? So that's what you need to bring to this. And then this is what I'm going to bring to the table. You'll get 4 hours of one-on-one attention as needed. We don't have to just fill 4 hours. If you're able to accomplish everything without it, we don't have to fill that time, but I'm making myself available to you for 4 hours of personal one-on-one attention, and that will be spread out not just during the 28-day training, but we'll go beyond that. So we'll do a little bit through the training, but mostly afterwards, actually, when you're really implementing, and we want to make sure we're seeing how things are going. And you'll have 28 hours of live group mentoring. So you'll be able to come into a group environment, and we'll talk about markets, we'll talk about automation, we'll talk about business side of things and raising money and all that kind of stuff. All right, so you have 28 hours on a group level, and you're going to get access to over 100 hours of in-depth training on a very, very wide variety of topics. So not just automation, but we're going to talk about options and systems and specific strategies and psychology, building your funded trading business, everything. All right, but you're definitely going to get that very specific training on the step-by-step, click-by-click, how to get your automated system up and running. And in that process, you're going to learn how to connect your automated system to investors' accounts. So you can make one system and you can connect it to a management account where your investors' accounts are. You don't take their money, it's separate, so you don't have the liability of taking cash and trying to account for that. You can send your trading signals and systems into their account to trade their account and collect management fees and performance fees from that. All right, and I'll show you how to collect those management. Again, this is not 100, you don't have to implement this to funded accounts, but if you want to, I will show you everything you need to know to do that. How to collect those management fees and performance fees automatically, so you're not having to do reconciliations and calculations of average account size and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's hard stuff. That's tedious, and you don't want to have to do it. Automatically calculated to the penny and distributed to you automatically. All right. And what I want to do, if you go through this process and you build a system and you want to get it out into the world, I am going to provide to you what we call a mini site on the Forma Financial website with a form a contact form that will go directly to your own email address. Okay, this is an important addition to what we're doing, because to implement automation and then go after funding for it, you need to be able to easily share what's going on. And I have found too that when you can have somebody else vouch for you, that goes a long way. So if you're able to direct somebody to a web page where it has information about your strategy and there's a form to contact you and you didn't have to build that, wow. Okay, that's something I want to provide to you. If you want, we don't have to do it. You don't have to implement that. But if you find that value, it will be available to you. And I think that's a very important element. All right, and I want to provide a letter and a physical plaque you can hang on the wall that will certify your status as have gone through this intensive process in getting to the finish line and becoming an automated trader. All right, and I think that's a very important thing for you and a goal to achieve, and I can't wait to see that plaque hanging on your wall and you send me a picture of that. And like I said earlier, you'll have a 100% guarantee that you're going to get to the finish line and going to have an automated system. And if I cannot get you to the finish line, then you don't have any cost for this. You get an outcome. If you do the work and you allow me to help you, you're covered. You're going to have an automated system. And I haven't told you yet about it, but I'm going to tell you in a minute, the huge incentive for you to hit that goal, to get to the finish line in 28 days, as I've said is possible, and I know is possible because we've done it before. I want you to have that huge incentive. All right, so let me tell you what that huge incentive is right now. Paying attention? It's a good one. If you complete the training within 28 days, I personally will put $10,000 into an account and let you test your automated system live with real money for 90 days. All right, and here's why I'm doing this. 2 reasons for this incentive, and I call it mutual alignment. All right, I want you to be invested, and I want you to know that I'm invested into you having the final outcome that we're talking about. And here's the first reason. The incentive is for you here to follow through, get the results I'm saying are possible, because if you do, then more people will want to work with me. All right? I want to incentivize you to prove this claim. I want you to help me prove that somebody with no prior experience in automation and programming can have an automated trading system in 28 days. All right? If you help me prove that, I will back your strategy. All right? I will give you 90 days to test it live without using your own money. All right, and the incentive is also for me, to your advantage. It is an incentive for me to make sure your strategy is ready to safely go live with real money, and for me to stick with you all the way through the process, from the very beginning when we talk about what it is that you want to accomplish, what your background is, all the way to the end where we're looking back over the whole journey of building and implementing and simulating and going live, and we're looking at the results of the live, and you and I are still working side by side all the way through to the very end of the process. I will be personally incentivized because I got money on the line, okay, on your system. Do you think I'm going to pay close attention to what you're doing because of this? You better believe it. All right, so it's exactly why I'm doing this. All right. But to get that done, for us to work that closely together, this has to be a good fit. So let me explain that. This is an intensive one-on-one process. We're going to be talking directly. I have to look at your code. I got to look for problems. I got to look for challenges and opportunities and weaknesses and blind spots. It's very intensive. So this has to be a good fit. This is not just anybody who wants to come in is going to be able to do this. It has to be a good fit. And it has to be worth taking on negative cash flow. If I don't think you're going to follow through, if I don't think you're committed to it, then I'm not going to commit to a negative cash flow, because I'm going to put up more than you're going to put up to get this done. So there's only so much of that I can do, and I got to know that the outcome's going to be worth it. You're going to work hard. You're going to put a good system together. You're going to at least try your very best and let me help you, and you're going to get it done, and we're going to put it into the market. We're going to get a good result. All right, so it's got to be worth doing that. And I want to maintain this high standard of and the high quality that we have in this community. So I am going to want to work with you closely, and I'm going to want to know who I'm working with and who's going to be joining this community. So it will be limited to people who are only a good fit. All right. So remember that 100% guarantee. I want to make that very clear what I'm offering. If you follow the training and you ask for help whenever it's needed, and we cannot get your automated system up and running, then the training's free. All right? So if there's any weird issue, you find out that the software that we're recommending you use is illegal in your country, and you tell me that, and you say, hey, they're not letting me download this software in the country, I can't access the website, it's blocked, and I cannot figure out an alternative solution that's reasonable for you to move forward, then all bets are off, no cost. And you can still finish the training out, and you can still get all the benefits of all the training, no cost, okay? But if you tell me and I'm able to say, hey, you can use this software instead, and we're gonna make these 2 little tweaks to the training, and we get you to the finish line, that's why I have this guarantee. I'm guaranteeing if there's any hurdle, any challenge, any problem that comes up, I'm gonna help you get to the finish line. All right, and if the training is falling short and it doesn't tell you everything you need as clearly as you need, then I will clarify it and we will get it done. Got it? That's my promise to you. Guarantee we can get this done together. All right, and on top of that, I know that training is good and all that, but I want to make sure we have everything. You have absolutely everything you need. So instead of these being things you can buy and add on later, I just want to make sure you have absolutely everything you need. So the first thing I want to add on to the training and one-on-one and group and all that, and the account with capital in it for you to test your system. On top of all that, I'm going to give you 5 starting point systems. And these are systems you can copy and paste. Automated systems, you can literally copy the code, paste it into your system, save it, test it, simulate it, go live. Got it? Copy and paste. You don't have to change a thing. So you can install these 5 turnkey systems, and you'll get the training to know exactly what they're doing. Why just copy and paste something and hope for the best? No, you want to know exactly what's going on so you know how they work and how you can tweak them and edit them to make them your very own. Say, I like this. This is great. You gave me this giant head start with this system here, but I kind of have a different angle, or I want to make it complement my other strategy more. So I'd like to make these little tweaks, and I'll show you how to make those tweaks. You can use what you know. You don't have to start with a blank screen. You can start with a starting point system and modify it and tweak it and edit it to be your very own and fit better for you. All right. And secondly, I want to do this for you. I want to teach you how to get more than just an automated system out of your automated trading. All right. So I'm going to call this IP profits. This stands for intellectual property profits. And this is how you can sell or rent your automated systems for passive income. Okay? Huge bonus. This is going to round out everything about what we can do to make sure you can get a good result from it. It's step-by-step instructions to sell or rent, which is basically to license. You license it for a period of time and then it stops working. And then they can pay you again, or if their subscription doesn't work anymore, then they don't get a renewal. So you can sell or rent your strategy for other people to use themselves. All right, so if you're thinking, I don't really want to be responsible for people's money, I don't want to manage them, I don't want to collect fees, and you're just not really sure about that, you can still use what you've built and what you learned and the tools you make. You can just make tools for people that they can use. All right, and you'll be able to set limits and charge different rates based on needs, so you can tweak it and like max out how much, what size it'll trade, and they can pay more if they want to go bigger, or if they want to be able to make more changes and tweaks to the strategy, then you can open up different things and they can pay more. Lots of different fun things we can do. I don't want to confuse you with that. But the point is, when you take these things, say you even take, you ready for these 2 bonuses together, huge little opportunity here. Huge little, anyways, it's a huge opportunity. You can take one of these starting point systems, make a little tweak to it, and then protect it and offer it and sell it and license it out. All right, cool opportunity. Want to make sure you have that opportunity for yourself. All right, and then I want to give you the recognition that you're going to earn through this process. So I'm going to send you the Automated Trader plaque and a letter that will tell you and anyone who's interested, that you did go through a formal process of getting trained to be an automated trader. And if your system, so if you hit the 28-day goal and your system goes live and we test it and you go through that testing period and it's profitable, I'm going to send you a beautiful certificate that makes it clear that you accomplished the process of designing and profitably managing an automated trading system for Forma Financial. All right, so I can't wait to see you go after that goal. All right, so here's the process to see if we're a good fit and move forward in this together. Very simple. Fill out a brief application that's going to give a little bit of background and what your interests are and what you're trying to accomplish, and I will review that. And then if it looks good, we'll have about a 30-minute discussion, one-on-one, you and me, about that information and clarify anything and answer any questions you have, and you can answer any questions I have, and see how this will work. And if it looks good to you and it looks good to me, then I will invite you to join. Very, very simple. All right. So summary of what we talked about in all of this is the big money, what we also call the smart money, is automating. 80% of the market is automated now. And you can diversify and protect and grow your account better if you automate too. And you don't have to be a PhD or a high frequency trader or an engineer or software programmer, anything like that, to do automation. You don't have to go get extensive training in any of that stuff to then start to automate. You can take the knowledge you have now about the markets, use the tools, and build and use automated trading systems. And anyone with 12 months of trading experience and about an hour a day can accomplish this. And I will guarantee that that's true, 100%. That you will have an automated trading system if you work with me, or else all the training and the education about systems and strategies and everything else, the group mentoring, the one-on-one time, all of it's completely free if I cannot deliver what I'm telling you right now. And further, I will put my money where my mouth is and test your strategy live with real money for 90 days. All right? And for many, that's the sticking point. I know it. I've seen it work so hard to back test things and study things and build things and install the software and open up the account, get everything ready. But when it comes time to testing it live, just all that stuff falls apart. Our brains just kind of like break sometimes when we've got to make this transition from academic to risk, from theory to risk. And so that's why this incentive is huge, and it's so important to make sure that you get the result that I'm saying is possible and carry it through all the way to the end to correctly scale in and test the strategy. So that's why I want to make sure there's nothing that stops you from getting all the way to the end, and that's why I'm willing to put up the capital to make that happen. All right? And however, because of that, time and money and effort that's involved, I really can only work with a few traders at a time. Even if I had unlimited resources of capital, I still could only work with a few traders at a time because of the one-on-one time that's needed. All right? So you will need to apply. I'll need to check that out. We'll have to have a quick conversation and see if there's room and if you are the best fit for this. All right? So if you feel like this is right for you, if you believe that this is right and you're very interested in this, I ask you now, go ahead and apply, and I'll take a look at that. We'll be able to have a conversation. What I'm willing to do, no matter what, even if I don't have room right now, even if I don't think you're going to be able to get in the short term, we'll still have that conversation. So at a minimum, we could still have a good conversation about what could be the right fit for you in the process for you. All right, so do you have any questions? Then apply. That's the point of the conversation. Apply, we talk. I'm going to cover everything, any question you can come up with. All right, and the reason I'm not going to get into super detail about the process, some of it's one-on-one, and there's 100+ hours of training, and you don't need to go through all of it. There's going to be different paths available to you based on your experience and your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. So we're going to talk about this. It's going to be tailor-made to you. There's some stuff which is very rigid and very basic that you just go through because you have to go through it and everybody uses the same tools and many of the same processes. But what you're trying to build and accomplish and do for yourself, if you want to do it only for yourself and only for your personal accounts, and you only want to implement certain types of low-risk trading strategies, well, then we're going to orient your plan to that. If you say, nope, I want to raise money, I want to have lots of funded accounts, I want to do long and short, I want to do fast stuff and big stuff, then we're going to talk about that and how to get that done. All right. So you will get a customized plan, and I will answer all of your questions as we talk. All right. So at the very beginning, I said you can get the roadmap to funded trading, and this is how you get it. You go to formafinancial.com/map. However, don't go there now right away. Just keep that, write it down. Remember, it's super easy, right? formafinancial.com/map. If you do the application, you will get a copy of this. All right. So if you're not going to apply, you can still get the map. I invite you, go ahead and get it. I said you get it, you can get it. So it's at formafinancial.com/map. But if you apply, I will automatically, hey, the theme is automation, right? Will automatically send you a copy of the roadmap to funded trading after you apply. Okay, so you can either get it directly at /map, or you can apply and you'll get your copy of that. All right, so that said, go ahead, if you feel this is right and you want to explore this further, go ahead and apply to join the Automated Trading Accelerator. All right, there should be a button or a form directly for it. And if there's not, or anything is weird, should be a direct link right here that will work for you, formafinancial.com/ATA, Automated Trading Accelerator. All right, so that's it. I'm so glad you came in and we had this time to talk and review this all. So check that out. Go ahead and apply if you would like to chat or ask any questions about anything. Just do the application and we'll have a conversation about it. All right, so that's it, and I'll talk to you later.